So this is one of the coolest features of Kotlin, which is pretty different from other languages. Most languages have what's called a switch case statement, and a switch statement really is just like a series of conditionals. And it's kind of old school because Kotlin has thrown that aside and they use what is called a when statement. So even if you're familiar with switch conditional statements, you should definitely watch this video to understand what the new when statements are that are in Kotlin, because they are amazing. So a when statement has a really simple structure. It looks like when followed by a variable value, and then that's followed by curly braces, and then within those we have the different values. So I'll have value 1, and then we draw an arrow with the hyphen followed by a greater than sign, and then the actual function. Value 2 followed by the function, and so on and so forth. And the last thing we have is an else statement followed by a function. So if you're familiar with switch statements, this is pretty common, or looks pretty similar, although a lot easier to write compared to the switch case statement. So let's actually get into a use of this. So a when statement is almost like a bunch of if statements. So we're going to start just by writing a value of sum, and we're going to have it equal to 5. Okay, so we've done that before, and let's write a new line, and we'll do when, and then within this we need to put the name of the value or variable that we are checking. So within this I'm going to put sum. So I'm checking the value of sum. I'm saying when the value of sum is, and let's give it a bunch of different ones. So let's say 1. We're going to print it's 1. I'm just going to copy this. We're going to have it a couple times. So we'll say 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 2. It's 3. It's 4. It's 5. So this is basically saying, what's the value of sum? If it's 1, print this line. If it's 2, print this line. If it's 3, print this line. So you can see this is much simpler than if I said, if 1 is equivalent to 1, print this. If 1 is equivalent to 2, then print this. If this is equivalent to this, then print 3. And so on and so forth. And it would be 5 different if-else statements versus this one when statement. Now we do have to put one final line, which is an else line. And that else line is, what if it's none of these? And you always have to have this. So what if it isn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What if it's 0? What if it's 1,000? We have to have an else function. So we'll print a line that says it's a different number. All right, let's hit play and see what happens. It's 5. Well, that makes sense because our sum is equal to 5. So let's do something like 10. We'll hit run. It's a different number. 1. We'll hit run. It's 1. So we don't have to explicitly use integers. This could be when and a string, and it could be like, oh, if the string is the word hello, then do this, and so on and so forth. So we can really customize this when statement however we want. Really simple and a great way to reduce your code from 1,000 different if statements to just one when statement.